this doesn't fit in the frame rail at all. So that means that I either got to try and grind it down or make a new one. So yeah, so I'm gonna bust out Angela the angle grinder, try shaving that down, and then if that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna make a new one. This is what I'd made before, and I even tried shaving it down and it still didn't fit. And this is what I ended up with. It's quite a bit thinner than the other one. So this is what I started off with. You know, I took the original plate, tried to grind it flat, and then welded the nut to it, and it did not work. And this is what I ended up making. This is actually a piece of the old K-frame that I cut out. You know, so it's just a little piece of like pretty thin steel with a nut welded to it, and that's all the zinc coating, you know, flashing off because it got too hot. So let's see if you can get the differences in here. Yeah, quite a bit more shallow because the plate before, you know, it might have stuck up here this far. So anyway, that's what I ended up with, and it fits in there. It gets captured, which means that I can leave it in there. So the reason I'm even going through the hassle of making one of these things is because I'm gonna have to do this again. I'm putting in regular control arms with rubber bushings, and I want to weld the patch. I want to patch the hole in the K-frame when I'm done. But in a year or two, these rubber bushings are going to end up failing. They always fail on Neons. They start getting torn. They start getting messed up. And I'm going to replace it, probably not with Prothanes, but with Moog problem solvers, which are actually a Heim joint that just has a coating on it. And they're like far superior than anything else on the market for a Neon, except for like custom control arms, but I don't got that kind of money. So I'm going to try and get this in there. I finished painting the K-frame. I just want to get, you know, as much done in here as I can. Let's see if we can get some shots in here. So that's this piece's job. It's just a plate that has a nut captured onto it, and it just sits in there in the frame rail. So once I have this in place, I'll be able to weld this shut, and I already started prepping it for welding. So be a little honest, there's a lot of stuff on this car that I haven't looked at in almost 9 years, and the longer I look at it, the more I'm realizing of stuff I still have to fix. So I'm going to take my little book and start making a list to document everything that I got to get done, because if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget. So let's go through some of it. So years ago, I put in, I broke a shifter cable, so I replaced it with these are actually from a 2nd gen Neon. And of course, they laid up against the header, and I didn't realize it, and they had gotten melted. The sheathings all broke off, so I had to do something about that. The coolant overflow jug is literally held on with a zip tie because I had lost the bolt. But I'm going to try and get one of those fancy ones that'll like mount over on the frame rail or something. The front motor mount, this bolt had broken off at some point and I never replaced it. So this bolt I just had sitting in here with a lock washer. And I think what I'm going to do instead is actually try to weld it in place so I can get some work done. Man, I really got to sweep in here. I'm also going to really try and wash the engine bay some, because I think the last time I washed it was when I first replaced the engine in 2010. So I'm going to wash it down maybe with like diluted purple power, because that's what I used last time. And then I'm going to try and get some of the rust up, but I don't want to like go too crazy because I don't want to rub the paint off before I have a chance to get it repainted. So, you know, when I get to that bridge, I'll video it for you guys. I might end up replacing the front brake lines. They look a little crusty, but they're in some pretty good shape. I replaced the rears like years ago because I went to drive it. Of course, you know, hit the brakes, busted, and I bought factory recall lines for the car. But in the meantime, like, I've learned how to do brake lines since then, and I would much rather have them be poly armor lines, but we'll get there. Let's see, what else do I need to do on this thing? I'm gonna finish deleting the air conditioning system because I'm not gonna have AC in this. Oh, and I'm getting a custom tune done by my buddy. I should probably actually bolt down the computer. Holy crap, look at this. So that's how my computer's been writing in here since probably, well, since I parted out the built engine and just put a stock computer in there with a little Jet chip sticker. So Jet actually was never able to actually tune these computers. So it's got a sticker on there, and they advertise more horsepower, higher RPM limit, but it's just a stock computer with a sticker. But my friend Tim, he does tuning in the Neon community. If you join any Neon group, you can find stuff by him. So somehow earlier I was recording, and the part where I talked about I'm going to have my friend Tim tune the computer because I bought a tuning device a few years ago. I never used it and just sent it to him so he could tune other people's cars with it. All that got deleted. But that's what I'm going to do. So Tim, don't forget. This might come as a little bit of a surprise, but I'm not a mechanic by trade. I have worked in IT since like 2002. So I have a lot of comments of people saying, hey, you should get a vise, you should get a vise. It is on my list. But what I'm going to do instead is use some vice grips to hold this and get these bolts that Robert gave me with a wire wheel and just clean them up some. This does not need to be perfect because it's going in the suspension of the car again for at least another little while. So I'm just going to clean them up and make them a little easier for the threads to get engaged, and that'll be it. Let me put my impact on it, see if I can get them to move. Probably should have eye protection on there. Oh well. Let's see if this works. There's that one. And we're done. There's a lot of stuff on there. Anyway, let's get these control arms thrown in. So this is a little bit of an awkward angle, but it's probably going to be your best bet to see what I'm doing. So just kind of slides up into place. Now I don't have the K-frame bolted down because I wanted to be able to shift it around if I needed to. So slides in there. What are you doing back there? You're acting up in front of company. That's what you're doing. Dang it. Up there. There. Now everybody can see. There we go. Just a little motivation for it. All right, so I put the forward control arm bolt in. It helps to have something to lift up on it just a hair. Make sure that the holes are lined up. just try and slip the bolt in. There we go. As far as the vertical, it's kind of the same process. You can't really see it. It's kind of the same. Find your holes. Make sure they're lined up. Push them up. Only these are a little harder. So you got to go through the not just the K-frame, but also the frame of the car and all of that. They get a little hemmed up sometimes, so they gotta be coerced in. So this is how the rear vertical control arm bolt goes in, and it's a pain. And we gotta slide it up through there and then catch the flag bolt inside the frame there. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've never done this, so there we go. So I'm gonna just wrestle around this control arm until I find the way that the bolt goes in. Maybe I'll just put it. There we go. Almost. Back and forth. It's getting kind of annoying. I can't really fit in here either. I have to raise the car up. I just realized I was about to do something I would regret a lot later. I did not put any anti-seize on that bolt as I'm running it home. So, pull it back out. It does not want to come out either. There we go. Give it a pretty good coating. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. But I don't want it to potentially get seized in the control arm sleeve in the meantime. I mean, it probably won't. I'm not going to be driving it during corrosive weather, but just in case. All right, here we go. All right, what's it doing in here? It's going up through it. Not quite seizing it. What I might do is I might push some of those pieces up top down so it'll pinch that bolt a little more. Let's see if I can do that. Get in here with this thing and so I think when I made that, it pushed the threads too far. There we go. Dude, where did you even go just now? So that little nut that I welded to the plate, that is called a flag nut. I'd like to thank Adam for correcting my terminology with that because I had no idea what it was called. So the one that I just made that was smaller, I dropped in the frame rail. I took a magnet down through there. I went fishing. I couldn't find it. I was trying to find my magnet. Here it is. Stuck it all down there. Couldn't find it. So I went back to the first one I made. And basically, I'll show you what I did. So it didn't really fit in there. So what I ended up doing is I bent the pieces that are surrounding the flag nut around until it did fit. And then I had to put it in upside down. That's the key. If you're making one of these yourself, you have to put the nut on the bottom so that the threads will actually engage. But I got it in there. I tightened down with the impact gun. It's not going anywhere. I just got to tighten down the front horizontal bolt, and this will be done. Now, I will say that there was a lot of swearing. I mean, quite a bit. Because I dropped it in there. I got pretty upset. So getting the new one in was pretty difficult, but you basically had to use a combination of a pry bar and something to pry the pry bar against to get it formed in there. And then once I got it in there, I had to hit it with the old Harbor Freight dead blow hammer and an extension so I could just get it into place. Once I got it into place, that's never coming out of there. I'll put some anti-seize on this boy. Because I don't want that to have to get stuck on there. And then we're going to send it home with the new Ryobi. That's not going anywhere. Alright, the other side is going to look just like this, so I'm not going to film that. So as you can see, I've got the K-frame back in, I've got the control arms in. This whole thing is just fighting me today. I'm not having the day I wanted. Nothing's going according to plan. I tried to do all sorts of stuff today, and it's just not going how I wanted. So I'm going to drop one spindle on, make sure it bolts up okay with the bolts I bought. I'm going to call it a night. Let's go. And this thing is falling off its perch a bunch, and the brake line's a little rubbed away, so I'm going to have to get new brake hoses, which is always a good idea when something's been sitting for as long as this one has. On there, pushing the grease out. I lost all my bolts, so I just went to the hardware store, bought some, you know, ones that are going to fit. Ooh, that's a lot longer than I expected it to be. But I don't think it's going to hit anything. So, got a washer, a lock washer, a nut. This is what I got going. There we go. That thing's just fighting me. All right, move the camera a little. Rotor on. Oh, man, nothing wants to stay where it's supposed to. You get in there, you get over there. I know I haven't worked on a neon in a while, but that's not how this is supposed to go, I think. There you go. Just hand tight. Cool. All this is gonna have to come back off when I get my coilovers, but for now, it'll be nice just to look at. And then if I want to set the car on the ground, I can, which I'm probably going to. So, man, it was a struggle today. But, well, not just today, the last 2 days. But got it on. I'm going to have to order some parts. In the meantime, my wife's neon, I accidentally blew it up a couple months ago. That ain't good. That ain't good either. So I'm going to have to clean out more of my garage to get that car at least nosed in so I can remove that engine and put in the one that I've got sitting around. So that's going to be an interesting thing for me to do. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate, you know, anybody that's followed along this far. If you want to like the video, you could do that. That'd be cool. If you want to share it, that's even cooler. If you want to subscribe, I would really greatly appreciate that. Because, I mean, it's just something I'm doing for fun. I want to do this anyway. But I want to bring you guys along. Just having somebody watch me do it is motivation for me to do it. Anyway, thanks for being here with me.